Hello everyone, Tansei. My name is Danielle Sarank. You might know me as the Squamish Medium, and I am your host and founder of Spirit School. I am so excited today to bring back a friend to the podcast, Maxine Friend. How are you doing today? Do you want to introduce yourself a bit for our Spirit School listeners?
First off, thank you so much, Danielle, for having me. I adore you. I think you're an incredible teacher and mentor. So, my name is Maxine Friend. I am a psychic channel medium and mentor as well. And I have been working internationally with clients for over 18 years. So I'm a consummate learner and obsessed with learning as much as I can in this life cycle and hopefully sharing some of those theme patterns with my potential clients.
I love that. And the way I always like to introduce you, and I probably always will, is by saying I'm 13 years into my practice as a medium, and I have been hearing about Maxine Friend since day one. And in truth, I probably used to be a little bit intimidated because I would have clients come sit with me really early on, and they would say, "Have you met Maxine Friend? She's amazing. She predicted everything accurately." And we're going back to 2013, 2014. I started to hear about you, and I DM'd you in, I think, 2023 to ask you to come on my podcast, and we just became really fast friends. And so Maxine is someone who I know, even as long as I have been doing this, has been established in her space and seen as somebody who has been a prolific psychic channeler, and you have recurring clients that go back decades. And just the fact that your business is so referral based just speaks volumes to the quality of your work. So, wanting to start today's podcast with that because we are talking about advanced practitioners, people who are known in their space, people who are already doing great work, who continuously want to learn, expand, and grow for their spiritual practices. And you had reached out to me a couple months ago just saying that a lot of mediumship started coming through your channeling sessions, and you were seeking some help, some mentorship about mediumship. So if you just want to start there and we can continue this conversation.
Absolutely. And of course, I heard about Danielle very early on, I think 2016 or something like that. And I was like, this is an amazing medium and an amazing medium teacher. So you were on my radar far before we ever met and always carried a huge amount of respect for you in the field. So that's important to acknowledge as well. And yes, in terms of working in the field and operating from the spectrum of advanced mediumship, when I reached out to you, I channeled to very high dimensional realms. And with that can come, when you're carrying a very high vibration, there's a lot of emotion in the space. And so, what I was finding as I was advanced in my mediumship practice, there was a lot of space holding or energy that I had to carry from very high vibrational places. And I was requiring some mentorship in order to bring the energy down into the heart center in order to properly be able to toggle very quickly between high vibrational channeling and mediumship, because all of this would happen within a 90-minute instance. And sometimes in a session, it would be within seconds that this energy toggle was happening. And I really needed some advanced experience, which is your area of expertise, not mine. So I reached out for you in order to help because I was really experiencing a lot of spiritual labor and a lot of emotional downtime was required after these types of sessions. So you were able to really hone in just 3 short, personalized, advanced mentorship and medium sessions, the ability to hone in very quickly. And you were also able to really properly identify my skill set and provided me with highly specialized tools based on my skill set to bring that energy down in seconds. And this completely transformed my practice, especially with mediumship readings for the better, probably at about 150% improvement rate.
That's amazing. About mediumship, it's such a humanitarian based practice in comparison to channeling. We're working with the realm of grief is a very earth emotion. We're working human to human and also for the spirit world. So I love that came through and that became really helpful for you. It also helped me, that teaching, understand my toggle that was happening between my teaching energy and the vibration that I'm in when I'm doing my inspirational mediumship, I call it, versus when I'm working with people in grief settings. And you also mentioned a word that I think we don't talk about enough, which is that spiritual labor as well. And I think that's really what was like taxing you.
Yes. And there's a tremendous amount of energy that is required. If you're on an elevator and you hit the penthouse button and now you need the basement floor, that takes time. And if you're in an actual session with a client, they're paying for your time and they're paying good money for your time. And it's important you get to those places sooner without completely compromising your own energetic system.
Yeah.
So that was incredibly useful. I was coming out of sessions feeling great, not exhausted and needing to lie down, just toggling from these different channel placements and understanding where that energy roots from, and was really incredibly useful as well in those sessions.
Have you seen since then that your work has become more multidisciplinary? The mediumship has been coming through a lot more in your sessions?
It's something that I'm always still channeling. And then when someone, yes, sometimes someone will be present before the session even begins and we acknowledge them. And so we work from that different heart space versus the high vibrational interdimensional realm, which I personally love. But you got to bring the energy down to accommodate where the energy source is coming from in order to better record and transmit and transpose those informations, those downloads are coming from a different place in the space of mediumship. So I have personally found that the mediumship sessions are even more detailed. The last one I did last week, they said, you're even talking like the person, you're even, when I'm not into transcendental mediumship, you and I talked about that offline,
Yeah.
just taking on more the persona or saying this person has an accent and a different accent than you, and all these small details that were not coming through as clear as they are today.
Yeah, and I love that as we bring the energy down, we become more embodied, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then spirit gets to use your mannerisms to inspire you. And I've heard that too before, where people are like, yeah, with your hands, that's what they used to do with their hands. They used to sit
Yeah.
exactly like that. So I love that you saw benefit. Something else that you said offline, which is like at the root of what we wanted to talk about today, which is you had mentioned as you become more advanced as a practitioner, you also become a lot more discerning over who you let in as a mentor, because that's quite an intimate setting when you hire a mentor and you talk about maybe some of the things that you're working through. It could be quite intimate, and you're best served being really discerning about who you're taking on as a mentor. So being so far along, has mediumship come up for you before? And ultimately, what made you say, Danielle, she's the one I want to learn mediumship from?
It was easy in our case because, we became friends several years ago and we have been running things by each other consistently behind the scenes for years. So it was a natural fit when I was struggling to get my energy back, to mobilize my energy post session. So I knew this was not normal. One of the things I used to do in mediumship was cry my eyes out. And I'd have to tell my clients, that's when I knew mediumship was coming in. I'd start to cry because of the space of love coming through for that beautiful spirit coming through, relating beautiful messages for my client. So I was almost so close to the sessions that I was a blubbering mess, but relating the messages. So now I am not a blubbering mess. I can stay very clear. And you taught me very much to step away a little bit, not let them in so close, so I can better transmit and translate the messages more accurately. So
Yeah.
that was a hugely helpful thing. And to answer your question, I think we were talking about this, but I was reading everything I could get my hands on back in 2006 and 2007, where this was not as mainstream. And there were very few teachers that were prolific in the space. And I'm sure you were the same as me, Danielle. You just grabbed whatever you could get your hands on to read, and whatever course you could get your hands on to just completely saturate yourself into the field and learn from different practitioners. And I was as well the same. But as you age and as you progress through your own personal spiritual evolution, you become more discerning with who those teachers are. At this point, you require more discernment based on your values in the spiritual space. So you're not looking necessarily for someone that has more experience than you, but you're looking for someone with an established reputation in the field who's a consummate learner, and you need to really be absence of ego in order for that to take place. So as you become more experienced, you're looking at what is this person's bio? What is their field of experience? How many people have they read? What are their offerings? What do they stand by? What is their business and spiritual ethos? These things matter. So when I am reaching out to someone after 18 years of experience, I'm doing the homework. I'm making sure that this is someone reputable in the field with driven and real results. And so it was a very easy selection to pick you as my mentor for advanced mediumship. And it was just a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for picking me. With mediumship advancement, one of the most helpful things for me as a medium who has read all the books, academic papers, I've read theses on the history of mediumship, I've nerded out on absolutely everything. I love to be inspired by the practice. So I try to go absorb content from mediums who really expand what I think is possible in mediumship. And that alone has helped me bring in more of that. So I try to stay away from spaces that don't inspire, and I try to prioritize people in spaces that do. That's usually my inner guide. Do I feel expanded? Do I feel inspiration in this moment? And that's usually a sign of alignment for me.
That's beautiful. For me, the key word would be resonance.
Mm.
So when I feel in my chakra, like my solar plexus, when I feel deep resonance over the teachings of others, that prompts me through the expansion of that solar plexus center to reach out and want to learn more and perhaps buy their book, take their program through the deep resonance, which is another layer of our intuition that dictates if we connect to a teacher or not, using our own intuition basically to
Yeah.
see if that person's teachings resonate. So to be inspired, that's so key and so important. And to feel uplifted by those teachings and that they align to your spiritual ethos. But for me, there has to be that resonance code, even if I don't completely understand it and I need to go and learn and search for more of what their offerings are.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And going back a little bit, something else that you mentioned was like really needing a healthy ego
Mm.
to be able to continue to see yourself as a continuously advancing practitioner, right? Like I often say the only training I've ever truly done is a little bit of animal communication, of course, mediumship. It's been my obsession, but I've never heard somebody refer to themselves as a master medium. I recognize in mediumship that there's always more layers of depth you can go to, not just in what you can produce, but how you feel in relation with spirit. There's always deeper levels of depth and blending of consciousness, if you will, with the spirit world. And I don't think we're ever really done that work. And I do think that it takes a healthy ego and a lot of spiritual maturity to identify we are going to be continuously evolving and growing on this path, and we're truly never going to be done.
Absolutely. And I would add to that that a lot of us, I think, as ethical practitioners, are continuing our work. And we understand that there is no finality to our elevation of consciousness and the places that we learn through our consciousness. And as we grow and experience more in this classroom called Earth, we take in greater teachings. And that's an ongoing thing that happens throughout our life cycle in this incarnation. But what's interesting and what the discerning factor is, are you going public? Are you admitting I'm getting some advanced training? Because a lot of us want to be established as the authority within ourselves, which is valid, but there needs to be a real absence of ego to say, hey, I have learned this particular skill from this person. And you and I have all seen the person that says, oh, this person has learned everything they can about me because they've become prolific in the field and they want to take the credit, which is the opposite of what we're talking about here. When there's an absence of ego, we're not taking credit for other people's teachings. We're not taking credit for where the work came from, but we are offering credit to the people that lent some expertise potentially we did not have. And we're able to publicly share that in a loving, beautiful way that uplifts and inspires hopefully more people to do the same.
Yeah, and I think that's the sign of a real generous heart. And I think that transcends scarcity as
Mm.
well. I've also courageously recommended people who have turned out to be quite harmful. And I will say that there has been a little bit of regrets. And maybe that was earlier in my discernment journey and it's gone multiple different ways. But if I bring through a teaching or a quote like I've heard from somebody else, I will always name that lineage, whether I recommend or not, because I think that's ethical, like you say, is to honor that. And yeah, be honest about the fact that, yeah, I'm continuously expanding my practice and my understanding of this work. And maybe some people fear that other people will feel like, oh, they must not be ready yet. But I would look at it as this is a practitioner that is mature enough to understand that there's always going to be more that you can expand and learn from. And I think that's a green flag for me.
That's wonderful. And I will also add to what you said about recommending people and regretting it later. I had the exact same experience. And I think it
Yeah.
comes from a beautiful place of wanting to champion someone and to raise them up. And unfortunately, not everybody carries the same type of values. And that's okay. But that is ironically part of the teachings of how we come through this path in an evolutionary way. So to admit fault or to misstep is part of the journey. But if you're not willing to admit that or to learn from others, you're going to be stunted in this experience of this journey because there's always so much more to learn. And I'm so grateful to you to continue to be one of my mentors and provide invaluable experience and tools in the advanced mediumship space. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And our relationship is completely reciprocal. You mentor me on so many aspects of my life. Your ability to channel on a dime, I am awe-inspired. I'm a medium. You hear mediums say, oh, I was born like this. I'm like, I had to learn how to turn this on. My practice was like learning how to turn this on, and I always admire like how quickly you can tune in and how plugged in you are and like how much mentorship you've offered me through that channel. So thank you so much, Maxine. And I would love to end with what's your next mediumship goal? What's the next thing that you would love to aspire? And then I'll share mine after. What's the next thing you want to accomplish in your mediumship?
In mediumship, I would love to obviously continue to broaden my language of spirit, as you so beautifully put in your teachings, and to be able to become even more accurate, more discerning, to be able to also just be the pathway to healing, because there are so many people missing their loved ones. And so to provide them with as much evidential information as possible to provide healing. And that's the whole point of mediumship, is to provide that communication, that evidential contact in order to bring peace to our clients and hopefully some healing and some rest to what is already a really challenging time during bereavement. So to be able to work closer with bereaved clients and to bring them peace, comfort, and healing, it's an ongoing thing. I've been working in mediumship for many years. I absolutely did not want to be a medium.
What did
It,
you used to call yourself?
I used to call myself what did I call myself? Medium. And so imagine encoding that while creating a practice of 18 years where mediumship has always been present. So you were really amazing to point that out and to reset the programming of that, which is so obvious, but when it's your own practice, it's sometimes we need that outside force to really discern what we're encoding, what we are programming into our space. But I was very much the reluctant medium, didn't really see myself as a very willing participant. And as a result to this mentoring, I've become far more eager to work with my skills and to hone them in even further and become more accurate for my clients and to
Yeah.
provide them hopefully more peace and more healing as they move forward through the bereavement process.
I love that. And I just got covered in shivers when because I forgot you used to call yourself that. And obviously you have deprogrammed so successfully that you couldn't even
I couldn't
remember.
even remember.
And as long as I've known you, I'm a reluctant
Yeah,
medium. It came through
yeah,
again. One of the things I love to teach is energetic sovereignty. And even just what you were explaining is the act of sovereignty. It's no, this is my energy field. I get to intend where my energy goes. And taking back your power with your mediumship. I just love that. And you even said, I remember, I'm no longer identifying as the reluctant medium. And that identity completely moved out of your awareness. I'm like, that's what I love about you. You just get it and you're just like, yep, this is me. You always say to me, new identity unlocked, or how do you say it? It's so powerful. It's like a new identity online.
yeah,
It's coming
yeah.
online is how you say it, right? And I always love that. And you also said something so profound to me as a mentor, where you said you're not having an identity crisis. The crisis is your identity is shifting. And I was like, oh, Maxine. Like that was just one of those mic drop moments. I know that you are in big life transitions right now. You are serving the world of spirit. I've known Maxine for a while. We've seen each other through so much, and such an honor to walk this path with you, my friend. And I know that you have recently fallen in love. You are engaged. You are going to be married in a few short weeks, which I'm really looking forward to. So, wanting to use this opportunity to celebrate you in your most recent transition that's coming up, and then also give you space to share about some of the things that you're passionate about right now in serving the spirit world.
Yes, thank you so much. Just, I love relationship readings. I always have. I have a stellium in Libra in the 11th house. And so I love bringing people together and I love talking about relationships of all kinds, whether they be romantic, work, platonic, community, and bringing people together is a huge passion of mine. So, in the spirit of that passion, I'm ongoing studying, as we've just laid out here, in the spiritual practice of becoming a professional astrologer. So I've already taken some courses and I'm offering, just because I'm completely in love. And as a 51-year-old woman, I may add, I was really set on being an independent person, traveled all over the world, 54 countries, and was quite happy being on my own and really didn't think it was part of anything in this incarnation. I thought it was more my ability was just to serve other people and not be in a romantic relationship. And lo and behold, I met my partner just over a year ago, and it was just literally love at first sight, soul recognition stuff. And it's just been this amazing pinch me kind of experience ever since. And so we're getting married in September. And that is an evolutionary, huge growth path for me as someone who's been on their own most of their life. But it's been so incredible. So, in the spirit of that, I'm offering a 60-minute love relationship. It's a channeled experience paired with an astrological reading so you can access the key points in your chart that can activate and access love. I'm just looking forward to assisting other people in their journeys and hopefully unlocking and decoding what could be stopping them from meeting the loves of their lives.
I love this offering, and I think that it's what people are looking for right now. So, yeah, I'm excited to hear how this offering goes. And thank you, Maxine, for joining me on the Spirit School podcast. Please go look at Maxine's website, Instagram, how you can book her below, and I will see you on the next episode of Spirit School.